Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli, back with another review video, and continuing on, of course, with the Halloweenish reviews on the weekends. Yes, what I'm reviewing next, it's a very interesting one, because, yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys really didn't expect me to do this, but I am now. I am reviewing something that comes straight from YouTube, a YouTube web series from good old Cinemassacre, from the good old talented James Rolfe. No, not something angry video game nerd. It's instead Board James. I'm sure there's a lot of you that not only have enjoyed the Angry Video Game Show, but also have enjoyed the spin-off show of the Angry Video Game Nerd, all about board games, which of course being Board James. And, you know, ever since my friends, and shout out to them, my friends over at So You Want to Be an Imagineer, gotta slow down, they did a podcast, part of their holiday hijinks, of this that I'm now about to review. It just struck me where I was saying to myself, do I, because, all right, what the heck, might as well, for the fun of it, and I'm sure you guys would enjoy this too, because you're watching it now. So yes, guys, I am, in fact, about to review an episode straight from Board James, the 8th episode of Board James from Season 1, which being Mr. Bucket. Beware of Mr. Bucket himself. He'll suck on your balls. It's true, and with what the episode describes of Mr. Bucket and how he's portrayed, but yeah. Yeah, so with the first things I have to say about the episode of Board James, Mr. Bucket, and with it all together, Board James itself. Well, first off, because, yeah, I, of course, had been following and have enjoyed the content of Cinemassacre, most prominently Angry Video Game Nerd, but not just that. Other stuff that James Rolfe and everybody else involved at Cinemassacre has done, the content they've done, from rental reviews or, Halloweenish reviews, all that, just, yeah. And I had seen a little bit of Board James. I was well aware of what it was. I also do recall that, the character of Board James, did make a few cameos, somewhere in Angry Video Game Nerd, and somewhere in Nostalgia Critic, yeah. And by the way, to point this out, I first knew about Nostalgia Critic. Then I started to, know about Angry Video Game Nerd, James Rolfe, and so on, just, yeah. And, technically, because Angry Video Game Nerd came first before Nostalgia Critic. And as we all know, when, the time when the AVGN and the NC, they crossed paths, and of course, in reality, both James Rolfe and Doug Walker being the best of friends, But yeah, so with Board James itself, because, Board James being the total opposite of the AVGN, basically like how the character of Board James is, where Board James is very calm and very, very nice and such, while the nerd, of course, and originally he was called the Angry Nintendo Nerd, but as of now being simply called the Angry Video Game Nerd, more appropriate. The AVGN just being just a big, freak out and just, always being pissed off and, F this game and so on, just... Yeah, this game sucks. Kind of a piece of effing dog shit, all that, just, the drill. So yeah, and again, just with Board James being the total opposite. And it's great to see because, board games are another big part of the world of games, and I, of course, having the experience of, and how can we not, having played board games. I remember those times when my parents and we played a few board games. Even say when some of those interactive board games happened, I know even say to mention, and best example, Blame Society, they've done the Beard and Board Game series, and constant board games they've played, even say interactive board games, whether say on VHS or DVD, yeah. But anyways, in the case of Board James, just, yeah, Overall, because Board James, another great show to come straight from the genius mind of James Rolfe and, with it, Cinemassacre, after first coming the AVGN. So with episode 8 itself, Mr. Bucket, yeah, it's a very interesting episode and enjoyable all at the same time, because with how they portray Mr. Bucket, and first off, I really didn't know anything about Mr. Bucket. Maybe the same would go for some of you, but it's thanks to James as Board James for introducing us and us being aware of the kid's toy, Mr. Bucket. And Mr. Bucket, with what he's like, actually, just a simple, innocent, gay kid's toy where, being battery I can't get it out of my mouth, battery operating toy. Yeah, that's the correct way to say it. Where, yeah, he just moves around, and the basic thing to do is you've got to scoop up the toy balls and put it in the bucket, and they'll shoot out of his mouth, and that's basically all it is to it. I'm sure to little kids that's pure fun, but not really for, say, older folks. But, in the case of James and Mike Matei, their characters in this episode, yeah. And again, just how Mr. Bucket is portrayed, the total opposite, where, he's a happy-go-lucky, harmless bucket, who has fun with kids. No, this Mr. Bucket, and according to the episode, is, again, the total opposite. He's a complete pervert. Just, seriously, going for different kind of balls, but... Oh, geez, but, that's just part of the fun of what this episode of Board James had to offer. Yeah, but just overall, I found myself enjoying this episode from beginning to end, and, yeah, just what more do I really have to say? Alright, so, with the first things I've had to say about the 8th episode of Board James, Mr. Bucket now out of the way, now as always, for me, read the description / the story. Remember Mr. Bucket? Little battery-operated bucket? Balls popping out of his mouth? James and Mike play with it and find just how much Mr. Bucket likes balls. Alright, so now with reading the description / the story out of the way, let's dive in / break down the episode itself, shall we? Well, because... with our two main cast members just being James Rolfe and Mike Matei, and as they're credited, because they're characters. James, of course, playing Board James, and Mike, his character being referred to as Mother Effing Mike, literally. And they're watching a commercial of Mr. Bucket, and I, of course, didn't see the commercial as well, because that was an old toy that I obviously didn't grow up with, because I wasn't born yet. I'm sure the same goes for some of you. But I do recall, there were some commercials, of toy products back in, say, the 90s or maybe 80s that then were shown again, in the early 2000s. Remember the one with the elephant who shoots out butterflies? That one? I remember seeing that one. But yeah, that being a good example right there, an interactive battery-operated toy. But anyways, so they're watching this commercial, and Board James being quite shocked by the premise of Mr. Bucket and with the theme song, a Mr. Bucket. Yeah, I should have figured that Mr. Bucket would have that kind of voice, but yeah. And, well, it just so happens that Board James has his very own Mr. Bucket. And so they whip it out, they put in a battery, and thus they play and interact with Mr. Bucket by scooping up balls with a shovel, putting it in Mr. Bucket, and again, that's pretty much all it is. And then Mother Effing Mike points this out to Board James, what it says on the instructions, that, with it being battery operated and, specifically to have the balls, and it can't touch sand or anything else. Just, yeah, you're only supposed to put the balls in Mr. Bucket, nothing else. No sand, no water, etc. And this really baffles Board James, but at the end of the day, because, yeah, Mike calls it a day, and just, yeah, he goes back to his home, literally right next door to Board James's. And then later that evening, Board James is looking up some research about Mr. Bucket, and apparently, because I mean, I of course didn't really know about this, that the way the announcer delivers the lines slash lyrics in the theme song, because put balls in my mouth, because, being very teoperative, however that word's pronounced, you know what I'm talking about, just, yeah. And just, yeah, Board James is finding that, he can't believe what he's reading when he Wikipedia's Mr. Bucket, and on account of what the announcer said in that commercial, singing as Mr. Bucket. Then after that, Board James, he puts on the TV something classic Universal Monsters, and hey, appropriate since I'm wearing this shirt, and yeah, especially since, I'm sure as you know, the classic Universal Monster films are something right up James Rolfe's alley. Well, same goes for me, and I'm sure the rest goes for you. Then at one point, he dozes off, and then he would wake up to the sound of something, and then he would start to see something crawling up, like, from the corner of one of the chairs, the couches, and turns out to be Mr. Bucket, coming up to Board James, and you can tell that there was some bit of stop motion to Mr. Bucket. But not that I'm complaining, because it was really good and amusing. And, well, apparently Mr. Bucket was going for Board James's crotch. Then he quickly acts and just tosses Mr. Bucket away from him. Then he rings up Mike from next door, and that's really awesome, because where we see on the other side, and, in the house that mother effing Mike lives in, because we see that he turns on the light and we can see him from the window as he's on the phone with Board James. That's awesome. And Board James sharing with mother effing Mike about what just happened, Mr. Bucket coming to life and supposedly was going for his balls, but just, yeah. I mean, it's not like, and it's nice to see that for the character of mother effing Mike, he doesn't make fun of Board James about this. Just even Board James thought that probably was just nothing, but yeah. But in the end, yeah, they both hang up, and, Board James, then starting to become suspicious some more, and with what Mr. Bucket does next, because when checking out Mr. Bucket, and, he even mentioned this to mother effing Mike, that he could have sworn he turned off Mr. Bucket. And then, with what he does next, and with what Mr. Bucket does next, in fact, because Board James, he then officially calls it a night, goes to bed, but a little later, Board James would wake up to Mr. Bucket once again being present, and once again going for his balls. And by the way, because the voice of Mr. Bucket in this, Mr. Bucket being voiced by both James and Mike, yeah. I'm pretty sure, and when I watched the episode, I think I could tell that, I could tell, the difference, and yeah, how James sounds voicing Mr. Bucket, and the same goes for Mike, I'm pretty sure, yeah. Anyways, I'm sure you could tell, too, which is which, at the same time. Different times in this episode when Mr. Bucket speaks, but yeah. Just the delivery of lines from Mr. Bucket, I don't want to hurt you, I just want to suck on your balls. It's so amusing, so damn funny. But yeah, and just Board James being very scared over Mr. Bucket, trying to get away from Mr. Bucket, and yeah, just more great visuals, with them moving Mr. Bucket around, if it's stop motion, or if they're puppeteering Mr. Bucket, or if he's, say, on string, it's really cool, and for its quality. Then a little later, Board James would call up Mike once again, and by this point, it's pouring the rain outside, and when Board James calls up Mike, he just asks him to come over to the house because of what just happened, that Mr. Bucket tried to attack him, go for his balls and such, and mother effing Mike recommended that he should go upstairs to his bedroom window and close it because on account of the rain and such, and I'm sure maybe some of you might have got startled by this, but right behind Board James, he doesn't see this. Mr. Bucket is right outside of that window. And yeah, of course, intense music that plays. Just, that's brilliant. And funny at the same time. But yeah, and then, Board James, he starts to search around the house, and a few locations that we recognize, and especially for, say, that appeared in AVGN, a little bit of the basement and so on, I mean, not to mention that, James, at times, and on account of the famous room, where AVGN had been shot, especially in the early seasons, that room had always gone through many changes. So, and I'm sure, yeah, you're aware of this too. Just thought I'd mention it. But anyways, so again, Bored James searching around the house, and at times, like, he does not see where Mr. Bucket is, you know, because peeping out of the corner or on top of the ceiling, just, yeah, again, great puppeteering, and I have no doubt that most of that was done by Mike. Just how they did it, just excellent. Yeah, and how they managed to squeeze their way doing that kind of stuff. But yeah, they did a heck of a great job. But then, yeah, then eventually, and when the climax is upon us in this episode, yeah, that's when somewhere in the basement, and where the basement sink is, the bathtub sink and all that, that's when Mr. Bucket once again lunges at Bored James, and Bored James still trying to get away from and avoid Mr. Bucket from Mr. Bucket going for his balls, and then he starts throwing the toy balls, just, you know, take this ball, take that, just don't take my balls. And then when Mother effing Mike finally shows up, because he came in with an umbrella, because on account of it raining outside, and when Mike shows up, like, then Bored James has Mr. Bucket turned to Mike, you know, go for his balls, and that's what Mr. Bucket does, and Mother effing Mike being totally unaware of what all is happening, and with, you know, there's no time to think and such, and, you know, for him to realize what's going on, because, yeah, Mr. Bucket just quickly going for Mike, and just, both Mike and James, their facial expressions at times in this episode, and when they're being attacked by Mr. Bucket, just excellent and hilarious at the same time. But then eventually, yeah, Bored James, he would get a hold of Mr. Bucket, then drown him in the bathtub sink, you know, in the basement. And I'm pretty sure that was the one and only Mr. Bucket they had, and for this episode. I mean, what happened afterwards? Did it just no longer work, or what? I mean, maybe you guys know this. Let me know in the comments section, by all means. But yeah, but in the end, Bored James, he drowns and defeats Mr. Bucket once and for all. And Mike just still being unaware of what all just happened. You know, just what the hell just happened, as he asks. And Bored James, all he can say is that, you know, that Mr. Bucket's dead, but to everyone who may have a Mr. Bucket of their own, no one is safe. And that's how the episode ends off, and with the Mr. Bucket theme song playing from the commercials. A Mr. Bucket, da-da-da-da-does. Wow, just what a heck of a entertaining, amusing, / hilarious, all the above episode of Bored James itself. Without a doubt. Yeah. Episode 8 of Season 1, Bored James, Mr. Bucket. It's a great one, definitely. Everything that this episode of Bored James had to offer from beginning to end, with its storyline, how they portray Mr. Bucket, for us, for the first time knowing about Mr. Bucket, but Mr. Bucket in this episode, the total opposite. I mean, obviously that's not what Mr. Bucket is like, and with what was sang in the song, was not intentional with how some people feel and view with what is said in the lyrics of the song, right? You know, great talents from James and Mike with what they do in this episode, their characters from Bored James, Mother effing Mike, the humor that comes from this episode, the puppeteering and visuals on account of Mr. Bucket, both James and Mike, their voice performance as Mr. Bucket, a not bad impression of Mr. Bucket. I mean, anybody can do that kind of voice. Even me, I'm Mr. Bucket, I want to suck your balls. Yeah, the music that's used in the episode of Bored James, Mr. Bucket, good too. Just, yeah, overall, episode 8 of Season 1 of Bored James, Mr. Bucket, excellent. Hilarious, all of the above. And I'm giving Mr. Bucket, the episode of Bored James, Mr. Bucket, well, what the heck, 10 out of 10 stars. Yes, 10 out of 10 stars for Season 1, Episode 8 of Bored James, Mr. Bucket. And what about you guys? What did you think of the episode itself of Bored James, Mr. Bucket? Was it one of your first episodes of Bored James? Or, I'm sure for most of you, you had watched Bored James probably from maybe when it first started. Like, obviously, there'd be a lot of you that had been following James Rolfe since he began the Angry Video Game Nerd, and when this came along, Bored James, which are some of your favorite episodes, and if the one with Mr. Bucket is one of your favorites. Have you enjoyed any other Halloweenish content that James Rolfe has done on Cinemassacre? Anything to come straight from Cinemassacre that's Halloweenish, and in the case of this one, favorite moments from this episode, I'm sure the entirety of it. And, you know, if you enjoy, if Board James is one of your favorite pieces of content to come straight from Cinemassacre, like maybe some of you prefer this more than, say, AVGN, or maybe you prefer both, just, you know. But yeah, just overall, what do you think of the 8th episode of Season 1 of Board James itself, Mr. Bucket, with what all I've had to say, my review, and yeah, what did you think of my review? Leave comments and give this review video a like, as always. And so, guys, with all that being said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of the 8th episode of Season 1 of Board James, Mr. Bucket, Mr. Bucket. More review videos are coming your way. They're going to be awesome. Keep looking forward, and I will see you guys in the next video / review. And, well, of course, continuing on, reviewing more Halloweenish materials on the weekends. Well, stay tuned, because what I will be reviewing next, well, let's just say it's something Marvel related. And let's just say it has to do something with, Agatha. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you know exactly what it is that I'm talking about. Just, yep, again, stay tuned for that. Take care, and peace out. Beware of Mr. Bucket.